Ready for a deep dive?
Let's do it.
Okay, so today we're diving into Primero Tu Paz.
Oh, I love this one.
Have you read it?
Yeah, I have. It's originally written in Spanish.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
It's a book of spiritual dictations, right?
it is. It is. And the title, First Your Peace, is so much more than just a title. It's like the whole thesis of the book.
Yeah.
The author, Mose, is basically saying, look, before you go trying to fix the world or even your breakfast,
Right.
get your inner peace sorted.
Yeah.
It's that whole you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes.
But Mosey takes it a step further.
It's true.
It's not just self-care.
Yeah.
It's the foundation for literally everything else.
It's true. And I think the way that Mosey goes about explaining it is interesting, too, because it's through these, like you said, spiritual dictations, right?
Exactly. And Mosey describes them as direct transmissions, like almost channelings from their inner teacher, which I love.
It's a cool concept, right?
Very cool.
Because it makes it feel very personal.
Yes.
Like Mosey is talking directly to you.
Yes. And you'll notice, too, throughout the text, they address both son and daughter. So no matter who you are,
Interesting.
it creates this really inclusive and intimate tone.
I like that.
And speaking of influences, if anyone's familiar with A Course in Miracles, you're going to see some definite parallels here.
Right. And Mose is a student of A Course in Miracles, correct?
They are, yeah.
Yeah. So for anyone who's not familiar with that, because I know that's a very specific thing, can
Yeah.
you?
So like a little,
Yeah. So A Course in Miracles, or as the cool kids call it, ACM,
right.
is a spiritual system that emphasizes the power of our thoughts.
Okay.
And this idea that the world is not quite as it seems.
It's like, whoa.
Right. Like, whoa, what if we're all in the Matrix?
Yeah.
And ACM is basically saying, well, maybe we kind of are.
Okay.
What we perceive as reality is largely shaped by our own thoughts and perceptions.
Oh, wow.
And that true peace ultimately comes from choosing love over fear.
Right, yeah. And I feel like we see that echoed in Primero Tu Paz as well. Like, for instance, there's the line, you are not an island but a continent. And that feels very A Course in Miracles to me.
It does, and that's such a powerful image because it reminds us that our actions and our energy ripple outward, you know?
We're all connected, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah. And if we entertain this idea, like you said, A Course in Miracles, that the world is not quite what it seems.
Right.
And if we're all energetically connected,
Yeah.
then where does that leave us?
Where does that leave us?
And I think that that's where Mosey brings in this concept of two different systems of thinking, the incomplete and the complete.
Yes, and this is key
Yeah.
to understanding Primero Tu Paz.
Okay.
The incomplete system, as you might have guessed,
Yeah.
rooted in fear, lack, and that sense of separation
Right.
that we're talking about.
Okay.
So it's always that feeling of not enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that constant state of striving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A recipe for anxiety and dissatisfaction.
Totally.
And then on the flip side, you have the complete system, grounded in love, wholeness,
Yeah.
and recognizing our inherent connection to a higher power, God, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
which Mosey refers to in many different ways throughout the text.
So how do we shift from that incomplete system to the complete system?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because it's one thing to, intellectually grasp this,
Yeah.
but it's another thing entirely to actually embody it.
Totally. Yeah. Because just because you know something doesn't mean that you're living it.
100%. And this is where Primero Tu Paz gets really practical.
Okay.
Mosey gives us some seriously powerful tools to help us make that shift.
Okay.
And one that I particularly appreciate is this emphasis on asking the right questions.
Yes. And I think that that's something that you and I talk about a lot too.
We do.
Yeah.
It's so important.
And it's not just asking any questions.
No.
It's about asking the right questions.
100%.
So instead of asking, why me, when something bad happens, maybe we ask like, what is this here to teach me?
Totally. Or what's the opportunity here?
Right, exactly.
Because it's about shifting our perspective,
Yeah.
moving from a place of blame or victimhood to a space of curiosity and empowerment.
It's true. It's so easy to fall into that.
It is. Oh, it's so easy, especially when things are tough.
Right, yeah.
But sometimes the most powerful questions, I think Mosey says this at one point, are also the simplest.
Oh, I like that.
Like what would my inner teacher say?
Right.
Like it can be that simple.
Yeah. Like we all have that inner wisdom.
We do. We have that inner compass. but we forget to consult it.
Exactly. And speaking of things we forget, I think another thing that we often forget on the spiritual path, and Mosey talks about this, is laughter.
Yes.
Laughter.
Like, we get so serious about our spiritual growth.
Right, like, I'm on the spiritual path. I'm very serious.
Exactly.
But Mosey reminds us that joy, and laughter in particular, are essential parts of the journey. They're not a distraction.
Right.
They're reminders of our wholeness and our connection to something bigger than ourselves.
It's so true, because when you think about it, like when you have that moment of like pure laughter.
Yes.
Like you can
When you're laughing so hard you can barely breathe.
breathe. Yeah, exactly. Like nothing else matters in that moment.
It's true.
It's true presence. It's pure joy, you know?
And that kind of segues perfectly into another really practical tool that Mosey offers, which is to pay attention to our bodies.
Our bodies.
Because I think, especially in the West,
oh my gosh, yes.
we're so mind-centric.
We're so disconnected.
Yes, totally. And so we ignore our bodies.
Our poor bodies.
Yes.
We treat them like machines.
We do. And then we're like, why do I feel like crap?
Exactly. We run them into the ground.
Yeah.
And then we're surprised when they're like, hey, hello.
Yeah, like, can we get a little bit of TLC over here?
Exactly. But Primero Tu Paz reminds us that our bodies are constantly communicating with us.
Totally.
Sending us these subtle and not so subtle
Yeah.
messages about our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being.
And we have to learn how to listen to them.
Yes. It's about cultivating this deep listening and self-awareness.
Totally. And I think when we do that, then we can actually take better care of ourselves.
Exactly. And it strengthens our connection to our intuition,
Yeah.
which Mosey would say is a direct line to our inner teacher, to that wisdom within.
I like that. Okay, so we've got asking the right questions, we've got laughter, we've got listening to our bodies. What other, like, golden nuggets does Mosey have in store for us?
Okay, this next one might seem kind of obvious,
Okay.
but it's something that, we often forget.
Hmm?
And it's shifting our focus from external circumstances to our internal state.
It's so easy to get caught up in the external world, though.
It is. With the news cycle and social media.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Everything's pulling us out here.
Yeah.
Out there.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, if we're looking for the world to be peaceful first.
Right. If our peace depends on our boss or our partner or the government,
Right.
we're going to be waiting a long time.
Yeah, we're going to be waiting a long time. And, like, all of that is so impermanent.
Exactly.
What is permanent is, like, what's going on internally.
It's true.
Yeah.
So how does Primero Tu Paz help us cultivate that inner stability?
Right.
Because that's what we're really talking
Yeah,
about.
right.
It's like, how do we become the eye of the hurricane?
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Where everything around us might be chaotic,
Yeah.
but we have that stillness within.
Right.
So Mosey would say, instead of trying to control the world around us,
Right.
just kind of a fool's errand, right?
Right.
We can focus on cultivating that sense of peace and stability within.
Right. So not necessarily ignoring the external world.
No, not at all. We're not talking about checking out.
Right.
It's more about recognizing that our internal state is ultimately what determines our experience of the world.
So we have to kind of become that source of peace
Right.
ourselves.
Yeah. And it's not about, like becoming some emotionless robot either.
Right.
Mosey's very clear about that.
Okay.
Like, peace isn't the absence of feelings,
Right.
but the ability to hold all of our experience, like our joy, our sadness, our anger,
Right.
all of it,
Yeah.
with this like spaciousness and compassion.
Yeah. Because I think so often we're trying to get to a place where we don't feel those, like, negative emotions.
We're trying to transcend them, get rid of them.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not really what it's about.
Not at all.
It's about being able to hold it all.
It's about recognizing that even in the midst of difficulty,
Yeah.
even when those waves are crashing around us,
Right.
our true essence, that peaceful center, remains untouched.
I love that. Okay, so as we're as we're wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
is there any like little nugget of wisdom from Primero Tu Paz that like really stands out to you that you want to like?
It's funny. It always comes back to that core message, Primero Tu Paz.
Right.
First your peace.
First your peace. It's so simple.
Yeah,
But it's so profound.
it is.
And it's a good reminder that prioritizing our own inner peace
Yeah,
is not selfish.
right.
It's actually a gift
Yes.
to ourselves and to the world. It's like that ripple effect.
Exactly.
When we're able to find that sense of peace within ourselves, it naturally radiates outward.
It does. It touches everything and everyone around us.
So for anyone listening who's like, yes, I want to cultivate more peace in my life, definitely check out the book, Primero Tu Paz. There's even more.
So many good practices.
Yes, but more importantly, remember that you already have everything you need
You do.
to access that peace.
It's already within you.
It's not something you have to go out and get.
No, it's about uncovering it.
Yeah, it's already there.
Remembering.
We'll leave you with that. What if peace was your natural state?
How would that change the way you move through the world?
Let us know.
Keep diving deep.